Stay here. I'm going inside. Make sure it's safe.
Safe from what? The throne's been empty for decades.
Just stay here.
Samora's throne, a monument left behind by the Mentecate. Samora's throne was one of the few pieces of architecture of the ancient folk that hadn't been completely demolished by the cataclysm. Odd by modern architectural standards, the throne is a triangular structure with several stories, and due to its location along the Dicesa, I don't know, was used by the Samora as a centralized location in which they discussed war plans during the Bright War. Before that, however, the throne actually belonged to the Registry and was their main base of operations before they moved to the White Spire. Oh, back here. What are you hiding from me? The Dicesa and Mitara. In the 6th Canticle, when the Black Crib was cleared out and the White Spire established, the Registry saw a need to connect the city better, and so constructed two major highways that spanned the city top to bottom, left to right. The highway that paralleled the Shore of Shadows and divided the city into its darker and bright halves was called the Mitara, and the roadway that connected the White Spire to the docks of Ombre was called the Dicesa. So we got the leader of the kingdom in there, right? So leadership survived, but their entire armies potentially are gone?
Come on.
Cicero!
Amadea?
Oli, he woke up, and the first thing he did was rush out of the estiguary.
He refused to speak to us, focused only on bringing us here.
Here?
That triangle that you saw in the mural.
Samora's throne.
We weren't expecting to see you here.
She has the seed. It was in the singing tree. She got there first.
Ages.
The hall has been destroyed. Mirabas is dead.
What?
No. What is left for us?
The only way we stand a chance against Lucia is by bringing the city together.
You intend to unite the guilds?
Yes. I'll take 2 of you. We will secure the throne to make space for the crown. The others must go to the guilds.
How are you certain they will listen?
They must have heard word of the chaos by now. They will want an explanation.
And if they don't?
Make them.
And the knife?
We will deal with that after the throne is secured. With or without the artifacts, we are nothing without the support of the guilds now.
Then make your choice, so we can act quickly.
I can't help but feel that maybe it would have been possible to save Mirabas if we had our entire party instead of arbitrarily splitting up in 3 and 2 and everything. Like in this specific case, we're given a reason to send off the other 2 people. But on that previous mission, I think it was just going based on the assumption like, no, it's a 3-party member game, so obviously you get rid of the other 2 characters. But in a story perspective, I'm like, I don't know if there was a real reason to split up the party previously. And because there was only 3 of us against so many people, we were slower, which led to Mirabas's death in a way that it might not have happened otherwise. But that's how it played out. Oops, that changes the order. There we go.
We need to secure the area. Tristan needs some space to take care of Ovestis.
There's so many random dogs scattered around.
Faye, of course.
Our poor paper Faye, if he goes outside, is going to be such a mess. It's raining everywhere.
We've got this!
You can't just ignore us? Alright. I was kind of hoping that just maybe, you know? Alright. Let's make a mess. Let's get you out of that attack, too. Oh, look at all those stakes coming out of the ground. Here we go. That'll make a mess of everything. So the party is very healthy right now. I want to point out that he apparently has the power to summon 3 Fae in the middle of a battle. That's, that seems a whole lot like something he shouldn't be able to just randomly do. It doesn't require blood and perfect emotions. I don't think he even knows how to summon a Fae necessarily. I feel like Cicero's the only one that figured it out properly. Interesting. Another raw Masquerine. This one's the Great Divide for Cicero. Masquerine needs to be decorated first, so we don't know what it does. I'm surprised there's more Masquerines, not because of this screen, because it's obviously there's a bunch of empty spaces, so I should expect more. I'm just surprised we're actually going to go back to base to have them painted at some point, because the narrative feels so much like it's ending right now.
Brace yourselves.
There you are. It's a very combat-heavy period of the game for sure. It used to be relatively common that I would spend like an entire half an hour at a time not even fighting. But now every room just has enemies in it. It's thematic. They're trying to make it fit the tension of the period of the game we're in. Let's throw out some summons. There we go. Take that, plants that were here before we were... There's so many random dogs just sitting around. It's starting to get weird. And they totally don't respond to the fighting happening. They just seem like a strange detail to me. Oh, there's more of you guys down here, huh? And more random dogs. Hey, look over there. So many random dogs, though. It's weird. Weird detail. There we go. So I've thrown down my turrets. Now we make a mess however we can. So many people are getting tagged. Makes the disruptors really effective. Yeah, these are pretty clean fights. Not much to worry about. Kind of feel bad. Now that we know that Fae used to be people, it feels weird to just summon them in the middle of a fight and then have them disappear afterwards. Like, yeah, you're just here to fight a few things and then die in 30 seconds. However, death works for Fae, which it admittedly may have nothing to do with anything you would call death. Are we in combat already with those guys all the way down there? Fae, Aurella. The Aurella are Fae that have adopted insectoid forms and behaviors and have been found in abandoned sites above ground, where other cultures might complain of cobwebs and spiders in old buildings. Ombrians have the Aurella to deal with. Oh goody. 2 more culture entries to go. Getting surprisingly low on that stuff. Are they up here? Ew, egg sack. Is that why I'm already in combat the moment I walked in? Because there's going to be like location-based things like this to deal with? That might make sense. Here, let's change target. Got other distractions to deal with. Is there anything else to attack over here? No, it's taken out. AoE! There we go. Can I go over here? There's a weird divot. Nope. Sometimes that means that you can walk through there in some games. In this game, that's admittedly never happened before, so there's no reason to expect that. Another egg sack. Make a nice field around it. Maybe no one will escape while we're attacking. There we go. Down here now. Oh yeah, there's just a bunch of egg sacks everywhere. Well, they're not gonna last, that's for sure. I wonder if they were supposed to be constantly spewing enemies out like those books that summon people. Because it oddly felt like I should have been under attack constantly. This feels weird. You can tell I'm in the middle of combat because I'm actively walking around exploring the location while controlling Vasco. It always defaults back to Cicero every time fights end. But I'm stuck on Vasco right now. Well, not stuck, but I'm remaining on Vasco without the game interrupting me at all. Oh, they're attacking now. Figured I'd try to take out the nests first. How's that for an AoE? There we go. They're still going down pretty cleanly.
That should be the last of them.
That should be the last of them. There were still eggs everywhere.
The Mascherines are being created.
Yes, my lady.
The White Spire has been taken. Our powers grow by the second. And yet...
You never told me how he fit into your plan.
It is sufficient to know that all is well.
That is not good enough.
It must be.
The blood of my people is on my hands. Our culture is in ruins because of me.
You love this city.
More than you know.
And if it falls, when you had the chance to save it, have faith, my child.
No sympathy. You did this. You did it all on your own, you lunatic. Into the abyss.
The crown is assembling. I can't believe they actually agreed to come. How are you?
Fine.
I mean it.
So do I.
Word is at the streets already. People aren't sure what to do, now that the Hall of Songs is gone.
Is Vasco finished with Oli?
I don't know.
Call him in.
Is there anything else you need?
No. Where is he?
Scouting the premises, looking for the entrance.
Into what?
This place was a prison, back in his days. The knife is somewhere inside it.
But he's told you what it does?
The Dementicate believe that the artifacts were Viennav, physical representations of various aspects of their god, Breag. The heart was a representation of the ideal that was free will. By itself, it achieves little, but when paired with purpose, it can work wonders.
Like create Mascherines.
Yes, with the seed, which was an embodiment of progress, of growth. Just those two artifacts are enough to create Mascherines from souls, to help them ascend.
How do they work?
Like any other Mascherine, with the heart and the seed on a face. All it takes is some mental effort, some will, and...
And we turn into Mascherines?
Yes.
By the light, how are we supposed to stand up against something like that?
The knife.
Yes, it is the counterbalance. Instead of progress, it is stasis. Instead of growth, it is death.
Death?
In a permanent sense. Using the seed gave their souls motility. From Fey to Mist, and Mist to Fey. They'd never truly die.
And the lands would be filled with Fae, too. They would just keep coming back.
Which is why the knife was sent down. With the heart, it has the ability to destroy Mascherines and Fae, and leave nothing behind.
Well, that doesn't help us.
There's more. The seed and the knife have properties on their own as well. In line with its purpose of progress and growth, the seed enhances the bearer's soul, expands and deepens the connections they have with Mascherines.
I witnessed Lucia branding Earth in the Hall of Songs. She's supposed to be a firebrand.
And the knife?
It is the idea of death or stagnation. By itself, it grants stasis of the soul, prevents it from ascending, as it were.
It'll stop us from being turned into Mascherines?
Yes.
Then that's our answer. We need the knife if we're going to stand up against Lucia.
And Oli will lead us to it, once he remembers where the entrance is. In the meantime...
Sir, the crown's gathered. They're waiting for you.
I'm on my way.
If everything that they're doing is so dependent on the actions of one Fae... Oh, look, it's here. So it just got taken care of. If so much of their plan relies on the actions of one Fae, I can't help but wonder why Cicero hasn't tried to summon more? I could be wrong, but I don't think they've actually told us any reason why they can't. Great Divide conjures 2 walls of rock that erupt from the ground and extends from the casting arc that lasts for 8 seconds, dividing the field and preventing units and projectiles from passing through. Interesting. You put that in the right spot, then, and you could trap enemies on the outside, for example, and make it so that we can just pummel them. That said, the, let's see. Attack and movement speed reduced by 25%. Recover stuff by running around. That I don't like tectonic. I'm not a fan of tectonic phase. Grotescus is pretty good. Turns to stone and taunt nearby enemies for 5 seconds. It's welcoming because of how much the healing it does to him, especially in a crucial state. I don't know how I feel about the Great Divide necessarily. Well, back to it. Case notes. Is this the beginning of day 5? Day 4 wasn't very long, was it? Alright, day 5. The throne was a jail, and Treor were representations of Breag. The seed was growth, by itself it enhanced the abilities of its possessor. The knife was stagnation. By itself it would prevent the possessor's soul from being affected by the seed. The heart was free will. By itself it could do nothing, but paired with the seed or knife it could either create or destroy. With the seed, it could turn man into Fae, and with the knife, it could take it all away. The next steps are clear. Alright, here we go. Act 4, Day 5, the grand finale. Probably. It's almost certainly the last day, chronologically, but who knows how long that'll play out in game time. Lystra. To the lands north of Amber, past the Cavalli fields and through the Valles Ventosus, lies the land of Lystra. Little is known about the people of the Windy Vales, and treks through the savage and uncharted terrain of the Valles Ventoris and the Estra Phantasmia are few and far between. To date, there has been no trade that has been conducted with the insular people of Lystra, and little is known about their culture. Insular sounds good. At the very least, it's one more group of people that don't attack us. One less reason to need Mascherines. The Cavalli Fields. Amber's influence is not confined solely to the silent stones that form its border. The flow of people between foreign countries in Amber has not been unidirectional. In the 7th Canticle, just a handful of years before the beginning of the Bright Wars in 347, Amber enlisted its first overseas colony in the Cavalli Fields, lands neglected by the Zorak people, who believed that its soils were cursed by Alhastria, god of the evening sky. Skeptical of anything based in religion, the registry sent a large amount of its people, mostly prisoners and outlaws, there, who would, in exchange for independence, pay the Zorak government a portion of the produce and crops that they were to cultivate. The Zorak government agreed to the terms, and thus was Amber's first colony birthed. The Silent Stones were one of Amber's biggest mysteries. There are 12 of them in total, and they rest quietly on the circumference of a large imaginary circle perfectly measured around the city. Even in the waters of the Midnight Belt lie a few of these stones, poking above the dark waves of the belt. These stones are significant in their existence because they mark the boundary of the magic that is to be found in Ombre. Beyond these stones, even if a masquerine is worn, there is no magic to be had. The world ceases to bend to the will of Ombrians, and it is as though the elements beyond have grown deaf to our commands. No one yet knows why this is the case, but the Vegelus are certain that this boundary did not restrict the Dimenticate in times past, for their empire spanned far beyond the Silent Stones. So it makes you wonder what they do exactly. Were they built to contain what's going on here? Is that their purpose?
Sir.
Oh, inks and engravings. Neat. Because I think I had a new one. Reduced incoming damage for 3 seconds. Restores 3% hit points. Reduces cooldowns by 1 second. Oh. That's a fun one, huh? What else do we have down here? We have 30 damage, 15 proc. 10 damage, 35 proc. Okay. Interesting. Go back to normal, but you, ranged caster, could be useful to have the reduced cooldowns by 1 second proccing on a regular basis, huh? You could basically just be spamming abilities. I think that's a decent idea. We'll see how that pans out. What's over here? Oh, skill reset. Where'd this brew come from? It smells so potent. This must be pretty much the end of the game then if they're jamming these in my face of like convenient reset locations. So we're probably never going back to the base again. You know, aside from perhaps the epilogue, perhaps.
It's true. The streets are rife with the knowledge.
The city is in shock. We need to assure our peoples that everything will be all right.
All right? The nexus of our history, the sole thing in this city that binds us together, has been desecrated.
By mask runners, no less. We should have seen this coming.
We did, 5 years ago, and we quelled it then.
You call this quelled? This is what happens when we allow ourselves to be governed by such a pathetic body.
Please, Varpravia, that is not what we're here to discuss.
Oh, that is exactly what we are here to...
Enough. The Inspectore has arrived.
The Samora and its crown. Origins. The Samora is the collective name for the 6 guilds of Ombre, and is a relatively recent invention. Having come about during the final years of the 7th Canticle, with the Bright War, when the Bright War had just begun. When the Contadani rebelled during the Bright War, it was not done in similar fashion to the way they would in the War of Bearings, where their hatred was targeted at the Registry in specific. Instead, the anger and spite that the Contadani had was aimed at the Masquerada in general, and this prompted the banding together of the guilds that existed at the time: the Aurella del Mar, the Luca Infinita, the Laboris Solis, the Cacciatori, the Altis Nobilis, and the Dieci Sovrani. The guilds, perhaps for the first time since they'd emerged, came together under the name of the Samora and quelled the rebellion quickly. Leading this association was Samora's crown, comprising the 6 leaders of the guilds, and though the Bright War has long been over, the symbol that is the Samora and the power behind the symbol has persisted since. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about the alliance between the guilds. Once, it had been based on camaraderie, but now has been tainted with poisonous distrust and contempt. More and more categories are completely done. That was the last history, and a moment ago we had the last others. We're getting there. Should I look around a little bit? That's obviously where I need to go. I should take a glance. Look at that, you can see all the different uniforms we've been seeing throughout the game. For obvious reasons. This is our last chance.
Finally, Please, Cicero, this room has been desperate for a voice of reason.
And an explanation.
What do you know?
The Hall of Songs has been defiled by mask runners. The singing tree is bleeding, and most of the songstresses are dead.
No word on why or how they managed to do that.
I have told you already. It is because of the way the registry has oppressed them.
Do not be so quick to absolve yourself. As Masquerada, you are just as responsible.
Both of you, enough. Fill the air with any more of your vitriol and there will be no room for explanations. Go ahead, Inspectore, please. Is Previa right about the intentions of the mask runners? It would make sense, seeing as though they've already claimed the spire as their own.
They are in pursuit of power. The destruction you see is merely collateral.
What sort of power is there to be gained in dishonoring our culture?
The power to create Mascherines.
What?
There was an artifact in the singing tree left behind by the Dementicate.
That allows them to create Mascherines?
Yes.
Impossible!
All right, let's assume we believe you. Why did they storm the spire?
To prove their power. To intimidate you, the crown, into obeying them.
There! Vengeance!
No, they have other reasons.
Your lie is running thin, Inspectore.
They believe it is necessary for the city to come together to stand against another cataclysm.
Another cataclysm? Are we of the same mind here?
As in the event that wiped out the Dementicate thousands of years ago?
Yes, and they are willing to spill rivers of blood if it means getting the city under their thumb.
They're insane.
Fanatical.
They actually believe this? That they're going to save the city?
With every fiber of their being. And unless we stand together, the mask runners are going to swallow the guilds one by one.
And if we stand together?
We need to reclaim the White Spire.
No.
Previa!
Don't you see what this is? A fabrication, based on our ignorance of the old world, created to gain the registry our aid, simply to reclaim the throne that they've lost. There are no artifacts or a coming cataclysm. The truth is simple. The mask runners rebelled, struck out at the heart of the society that's oppressed them, and finally pooled their wits together and claimed the spire as their own. And now the scum of the White Spire have woven a tale in an attempt at winning back their control over us. But to that I say...
It is true.
And here I thought you'd lost your voice.
Fabio, what do you mean? All the Inspectore speaks of, it is all true.
How can you say that?
I've had an agent that has been traveling with him. I've heard her accounts, and at first I was skeptical as well. But give it some time and you will come to see the sense in it. It explains some of the mysteries of our land.
So you've known about this for a while then?
And you kept it from us?
We were supposed to be better than this, Fabio. I acted in the interest of my people. You would have done the same. You acted in the interest of your guild. The people of the city are your people. That is what the crown is supposed to stand for. Stop! I understand I have wronged the crown by my actions, but all is shadow under the light of the present.
Fabio, you believe him?
I do. And if you could, for a moment, put aside your Altus pride and admit there are things of the past you do not know, Previa?
I will not commit to a deluded fool's plan.
Oh, am I playing right now? Oh, I wasn't clear at the moment. Whoops.
Previa, wait!
Well, she's stubborn, isn't she? Didn't I go through your base and save everyone?
The city needs you! This is about more than just the registry. More than your pride. Please!
You will not win my people over with lies!
Cicero, the Altus are leaving. What? Cicero? Where are you going?
To gather an army.